Now, I promised you guys I'm not trying to copy Exclusive Ace's videos. I just wanted to make a video about the maps in Modern Warfare for a while. When I saw that Ace did one about 3-lane map design in Modern Warfare, I decided, well, it was as good a time as any. A lot of you guys already know my opinion on maps, so I don't want to reiterate too many things I've said in previous videos. And instead, I just want to propose something that's simple and I'm pretty sure would please most people. So let's pretend that Modern Warfare is going to have around 10 maps. Now, there are groups of people that believe that the best Call of Duty maps are the more linear, brightly lit, 3-lane maps like we've seen in Black Ops 2 and 4, maps like Raid or Grind. Personally, I love maps like this. They're bright, they are well defined, they're linear but very fun, and I think that 5 out of the 10 maps should be taken up by these styles of map. They don't need to be war-torn, dramatic, large, messy, Call of Duty Ghosts Modern Warfare 2 style maps all the time. No, I think we should at least have half of our maps in the rotation being something more similar to a map you're seeing here, Grind, which is a linear, 3-lane, brightly lit, clean map. Now when it comes to the other 5, you know where I'm going with this. I want maps like Modern Warfare 2 or Call of Duty Ghosts with defined height advantages, power positions, minigun and machine gun turrets littered about, long lines of sight, weird corridors, weird underground areas that don't seem like they should be there, but I guess they're there, so why not? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like a Stonehaven, Stormfront, Estate, Yemen, Turbine. Because if it's split down the middle, then people get their linear, clean-cut, 3-lane maps, and then sometimes they're gonna have to play a more messy, long-range, complicated map. And I love that idea. I'm a firm believer that game design takes a back seat when every map allows for every single playstyle. I think some maps you shouldn't be able to snipe on, and some maps you shouldn't be able to run a shotgun on. Some maps you shouldn't be able to be aggressive and just run to the middle and see how many kills you can get. I think some maps should play slower, and some maps should play faster. And it's gonna be impossible to strike the perfect balance. You know, the map's big but not too big, small but not too small, linear but not boring, complicated but not obnoxious. That's going to be hard to do. But like Ace pointed out in his video, although I kind of disagree with like 2 of the maps he listed, most fan favorite maps are of a general 3-lane design. And honestly, most FPS maps are generally 3-lane, but then it matters like what lines these lanes. Are they buildings? Are they height advantages? Are they tunnels? Are there intersecting lanes that lead to the middle? Is the middle a power position or a no man's land? Does every piece of cover have a symmetrical piece of cover across from it so everything's very predictable? You see, that's what I'm looking at when I look at Call of Duty maps. How many buildings? What's the complexity of the buildings? Can you go under them? Is there ways to go on top of certain buildings if you know where to jump and know where to climb? Where's the little hidden secrets? Where's the little places I get to go play around on? And that's been completely lost in modern Call of Duty map design. It rears its head now and again, and we have some oddballs that definitely stand out, but most maps are boring, and I don't know anybody that enjoys them, wants them to return, or wants to play on them again later. But then there's map design faults that I really don't want to see Modern Warfare fall into. You see, the map you're seeing right now, which I don't remember what it's called, but it's a Black Ops 4 DLC map, and because my friend bought the Black Ops Pass, hate you Jason, I have to play these god-awful DLC maps. And this DLC map committed the cardinal sin of having huge, thick, fat spawn areas. I hate that. So both ends of the map are wide, complicated, messy areas where enemies can hide and you can still be spawning there because it's so big. Because you could spawn in the middle of the back area, the building in the back area, the left or the right of the back area, towards a stairway near the back area. That's how it just how it is, and it's just so big, it's unruly. Many Call of Duty maps have done this, even Call of Duty maps that I enjoy do this, I'll fully admit. But I hope Modern Warfare doesn't make these mistakes, because this is bad map design. If I can spawn on one side of the map with somebody looking at me because the spawn area is so big the game deemed it safe to put me there, that's not good. I love big, complicated maps. I would say my favorite Call of Duty maps are maps like Stonehaven, Stormfront, Estate. I love maps like that. But there's a point where you make the maps too damn wide, and suddenly spawn areas don't feel safe, and there's so many areas that enemies can be lurking it becomes a game of hide and seek, and that's not good. See, we also have to look at how perks are designed, because will the game have unlimited sprint, or will it have a perk that allows you to have unlimited sprint? That needs to be factored in when designing the size of the maps and the complexity of the maps. Like, can players high mantle like they can in Black Ops 4, where they can grab things that seem way higher than their head with no problem? Are they going to need to stop and regain stamina after sprinting? Or can they just keep on going? Also, certain maps, in my opinion, don't play well if recoil is too low. One of my problems with Call of Duty Ghosts is, as much as I love the design of the maps, weapon recoil on ARs is so low that even though the map is big and you're playing to the strengths of something like a sniper rifle or a DMR, you can still get easily picked off by a non-foregripped Remington across the map. So what will weapon recoil and flinch be like? Flinch is also a big thing. Maps play entirely differently if there's lots of flinch. People play more conservatively, they hold more cover when they know that if they get shot first, they're going to be knocked off target. So they want less of their body showing, and they want to hold angles a lot more. Black Ops 4 not having flinch and having unlimited sprint and just decent fast movement speed in general, with also the ability to high mantle, makes it so the game kind of feels relentless and never-ending, which is of course similar to playing Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, or Infinite Warfare, where players have so much speed and so much maneuverability that the action is relentless. Moving really doesn't cost you anything, and the map is barely in your way. Large gaps, wall run over them or just jump over them. High points, power positions, just jump up to them. And the gameplay never slows down enough to allow for some more methodical playstyle, so the game just kind of plays the same each time. Everybody gets to be confident, everybody's fast, and power positions start to matter less. I think if you want to move around the map at light speed, you should have to dedicate a class to being that light speed level rushing player. If you want to be relentless, you need to spec into it, is basically what I'm saying, which is what Call of Duty Ghosts fucking nailed. If you wanted to have unlimited sprint, move faster in general, take no fall damage, and make no footstep sounds, and then run a nice light, good aggressive gun, you could do that in Ghosts. But if you wanted to play more conservative, there was no point in putting on marathon and agility and ready up and resilience. You can spec your class into being more slow paced, more methodical, and more well thought out, and the maps would allow you to do so. Lots of things go into map design, and it's more than just being 3-lane or strict 3-lane or big and messy, you know, it's more complicated than that. It's weird to think that flinch and weapon recoil need to be factored in when designing maps, but it needs to be. The design of these things is very meticulous. Like, Black Ops 4 would have an entirely different meta overnight if they decided to increase flinch by 15%. People would play the maps differently, and then slow down player speed. Map plays differently. Then take away unlimited sprint. The maps play differently. Take away that high mantle. Maps play differently. Take away sliding. People play differently, the map plays differently. One of the things I've said to my friends before is that Modern Warfare 3's maps I don't think work well in Modern Warfare 3, but I think they would have worked really well in Call of Duty 4. I think if you would have swapped COD 4's maps with Modern Warfare 3's, they would have played better. Call of Duty 4 maps, a lot of the ones that people don't like, didn't factor in player movement speed and time to kill. And I feel like Modern Warfare 3 makes the same mistake. I think Modern Warfare 3 would have benefited from the more complicated, larger map design in COD 4, and COD 4 would have benefited from the more linear, smaller map design in Modern Warfare 3. There are exceptions, of course, and I could do a whole video on that to see if I'm actually correct about it, but it's something I've thought about for a while. But that's just a personal anecdote, doesn't matter. I want to see variety, but more importantly, I do want to see everybody happy. I don't want a bunch of maps that all play the same way and they force the same range of engagements. They have the same styles of lanes and cover and symmetrical pieces of cover, so that every engagement in every match and every map kind of feels similar. No. I want there to be that level of variety, and I want both sides of the community to be pleased. And maybe they can do 3 linear, clean 3-lane maps, they could do 3 very large, messy maps, and then 4 maps that kind of play it safe in the middle. They're kind of innocuous and not that interesting, but you know, they play decently. Or they could do something along those lines. But to wrap up this video, there's one last map related thing I wanted to talk about. If they have a small clusterfucky map like Nuketown, Rust, or Shipment, keep it in its own playlist. I speak for a lot of people when I say we don't like running into Nuketown or Shipment when we play games like Modern Warfare Remastered, World War II, or Black Ops 4. These novelly small maps that play like rapid clusterfucks are just obnoxious to run into, especially multiple times in a play session. And they always get voted for because a large portion of the community just enjoys games that allow them to abuse various mechanics and rack up as many kills as possible in the shortest amount of time possible. I hate this experience. I just absolutely, fundamentally, unwaveringly hate this experience, and I want it gone. So please, Infinity Ward, if you can please listen to me, just on one thing in this video. Keep your tiny map, whatever it is, I don't care what it is, keep it in its own damn playlist. Launching Modern Warfare with a 24/7 small map playlist would be great for the crayon-eating, window-licking population in the COD community that enjoys maps that are just mindless grinding machines. Thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you guys. Let me know what you think down below. Goodbye.